Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and earlier this week we got some bad news about Humble Games, and it's been a little bit confusing what was released. At first it was announced that Humble Games was restructuring, and then it's kind of come out that Humble Games is shutting down. The reality is more towards the latter than the former, and this is unfortunate. Yet another publisher is going out of business, and this is a shame because a number of indie developers work with Humble Games. They actually look like they'd be a bit of a success story. When you look at their back catalog, which let's go ahead and take a look at it right now, you're going to see a number of games you've definitely heard of. These are games that are on the way. Some silver lining good news for those in just a minute. And then we've got, again, a number of the games that they have published in the past. Things that I've definitely played: Crying Suns, Ghost Song, Moonscars, Slay the Spire, Void Bastards, and so on. They've got a number of very cool titles in their back catalog, definitely in that, I would call it like the premium indie tier. So it is definitely a shame that Humble Games is more or less going away. One reason I'm doing this video, however, is if you're a regular to this channel, you know I cover Humble Bundles a lot. Now, Humble Bundles are not going away. That's the biggest thing I want to clarify right away. Humble Games was a spin-off or a branch off of Humble Bundle. So they decided, let's move into the game space. We'll do a game store. We'll start publishing games, creating games. And so some of these games they created themselves, and other ones they are just the publisher for. That spin-off is going away. Humble Bundle itself is not. So if you're used to Humble Bundle, again, if you're regular on this channel, you know they do a ton of game development stuff. So go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights right now. They've got stuff for Learning Godot. It'll probably be over with time the video's up. We got Blender Toolkit, which is an amazing bundle. The Arcade Bundle here for Avani Audio. We got Unreal Engine Unity. Unreal and Unity over here, Poser 12 available, and another couple bundles there as well. And I cover these all the time because they're an exceptional deal for game developers. Another thing that you may know Humble for is this, which I actually personally subscribe to. It's an incredible deal, is the Humble Choice. Basically, you can get a bunch of games for about 12 bucks if you buy it on Black Friday. It's a pretty amazing deal as well, and that on top of course, their traditional bundle stuff, and then they have the Humble Store and all that stuff. So the big thing here is this part is not going away. Humble Games is being shut down. Humble Bundle is not. So if you're worried about Humble Bundle, your Humble Bundle stuff, or your Humble Bundle purchases, basically a separate company. They same root, same source, different employees, different organization, different things. So Humble Bundle is not going anywhere. Humble Games sadly is. So it was first said that they were doing layoffs of their entire staff, which by the way is a shutdown. And then it came back and said, no, we're restructuring. We are not shutting down. So that was the announcements out of here, but all 36 of the staff were laid off entirely. So that was people developing games for Humble itself, as well as people in the publishing studio. So this article is very confused. On top of that, they also list IGN as the parent company. IGN does not own Humble Games or Humble Bundle. They're actually under IGN, but they're actually owned by a company called Ziff Davis, which owns IGN. So it's like these mega slurp up all the companies out there kind of company. IGN is not the parent company, Ziff Davis is. But IGN is the division that Humble has been put under. Just one of those things to clarify. But we've got some more details about what this means. So they're going on for sure. These guys get it right. Owned by IGN parent company Ziff Davis, announced the layoffs with social media posts as impersonal and vague. Some suspect it was written by AI. So you can see here the original announcement is, in these challenging economic times for indie game publishing, Humble Games has made the difficult but necessary decision to restructure our operations. This decision was not made lightly. It involved much deliberation and careful thought with the goal of ensuring stability, blah, 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 blah. And then we got basically appended information about it. So we've got other employees basically said that the entirety of the staff have been let go. No one from Humble Games survived the layoffs, nor will they have anything to do with game launches moving forward. So this has actually been they're going through a restructuring or other closure. Reported a recording of a meeting in which President Steve Horowitz acknowledged that a third party called the Powell Group will be handling operations from now on. Powell Group is a consultancy that previously worked with developers including Night Dive Studios and NetEase Games. So the good news is those games over here, these ones, they still have an exit strategy. There is a company that are going to be working with them to bring those to completion. It's not going to be Humble Games. It is going to be a company called the Powell Group. Now, again, I have not confirmed this myself. This is all coming from Inverse, not directly from Humble, but it sounds like the restructuring in question, I was air quoting, you couldn't see me there, but the restructuring in question seems to be that they've moved their game operations over to this Powell Group, and all of the employees of Humble Games have been let go. So it's definitely sad. We have lost another publisher. Basically, it was being said that Ziff was just expecting a return on investment in a very short order. But I think on top of that, they put a lot of money out into certain games like Stray Gods, which were popularly received but didn't sell exceptionally well. And that's the problem with being a small publisher. If you do not have a huge war chest and you put a bunch of money into a couple of duds, that hurts, and you end up suffering for it. So we don't know exactly why it was being shut down. All we know is Ziff Davis ultimately made the decision to let go of all the employees, and it does sound like a company called Powell Group is going to be taking over. But do keep in mind, once again, all of the employees that are being let go are from Humble Games. They are not from Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle existed before Humble Games. Humble Bundle exists after Humble Games. So Humble Bundle is a separate thing from Humble Games. Humble Games spun off from Humble Bundle, but was a different entity. And Humble Games is not going anywhere. Humble Bundle is not going anywhere. But sadly, it does sound like Humble Games is dead as a dodo, with the leftovers basically being handled by Powell Group. Now, the good news is, again, those people that have those games currently in development, these coming soon games, they're safer. I would still probably be looking for a new publisher if you were thinking about using Humble Games, but it's always sad to see these publishing deals go away. And Humble Games also developed games themselves, and that studio has apparently been shuttered as well. So definitely not good news. But yeah, in case you were wondering, Humble Games is gone. Humble Bundle is unaffected. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.